Hi, and welcome to 10 in 10, LinkedIn live chat sessions with storytellers from Thrive with Mentoring, soon to be published book on mentoring. I'm Lalita Vaidyanath, co editor of the book, and I'm very pleased to have here with me Karina Schneider, one of our very inspiring storytellers and a very successful mentee. Over to you, Karina. Would you like to share something about yourself?
Thank you, Lilita, for having me today. Yeah, I just want to share that I've been connected with Thrive with Mentoring since I think 2021, as a volunteer, as a mentee, and also just recently as a column writer for Quarterly magazine. So it's I think I said it once. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
I'm also a mom of a 4-year old. I come from the Philippines originally, and Switzerland is now our second home. And yeah, my day job is I run a coaching and consulting practice, and I work with my clients on themes related to well-being and mental health. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
That's great. That's a lovely introduction. And for all those who are watching, Karina has just started to contribute to Thrive On, our quarterly newsletter, as she mentioned. And it's really nice to have her views on mental health. She's helping all of us get better, and those, by reading her columns. And there's so much of valuable information in that. Thanks a lot for that, Karina.
Thank you.
And now we'll move on to your queries. As you know, it's about, we'd like to know about you, we'd like to know about your story and your opinions on Thrive with Mentoring. So, shall we start?
Let's go for it.
Yeah, great. So, Karina, one word to summarize your story.
I think you did it really well in one of the posts that you shared on LinkedIn. I think the word reinvention really resonated with me because I think, for me, being at the stage of the career that I'm at, it's easy to assume that this is it, right? That this is the rest of our lives. And I think my story hopefully shows that there's nothing that's permanent. We can continue to evolve our lives, our careers, our characters. So I think reinvention is the word that resonates a lot.
I'm glad you like that because that's what came across to me when I read your story. It's all about how you've captured your entire journey so well, and how you went from a full-time career to being a full-time mom, and you throw in a burnout in the middle, the challenges of newfound motherhood, and then suddenly you're rising, and you have found your spot. It's all about reinvention, and I'm glad that it resonated with you.
Yeah, thank you. This is a nice way to summarize it too.
Okay, so what motivated you to write the story, Karina?
I think one of the things that I really was reflecting on through my own recovery was asking myself what is the story I want to tell myself about the challenges that I faced. And I think that for many of us, when we go through difficult circumstances, there's a story that we tell ourselves that can make us feel like we're the victim or that we feel like we failed. And I wanted to make a conscious choice that that's not the story that I want to tell myself and that I want to tell my family or I want to tell others. I wanted it to be an empowering story, a story of learning, a story of growth. And so the opportunity to write for this book was really a symbolic way for me to do that. I don't think I've put my story into words prior to this. So this was really my chance to define what that story was going to sound like and how it was going to feel.
Great. So you must be really excited to, to seeing your story in print in a bookstore, in a book, and in a bookstore.
I'm excited, I'm proud, I'm nervous, I'm humbled. It's a healthy combination of all of those, I think.
Sure, I can imagine. But your story is remarkable, and you did mention that this is the first time you're writing. I don't think so. It looks like you're a no- you're a a veteran at it.
Thank you. Maybe it's a newfound skill in the meantime.
Yeah. So this is for your story, which I really enjoyed reading.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Um, so what did you experience while writing your story, Karina?
I remember the first time I started writing the story, I was at an airport and I thought, oh, maybe that's not such a good idea because it was a very emotional process to write it. I was waiting for a flight, but I think it captured it. I think there was a lot of vulnerability in writing the story when I first tried to write it without any filters, without thinking that this was going to be published. I just let it flow. Um, and also trying to be very intentional about what I wanted the readers to take away from the story as well. So it's not just about me writing my story, but it's also, what's the message that I want the readers to take away from it. So definitely vulnerable, definitely intentional. And I think even the first part of the book where I kind of described the trigger that unraveled all this change, it was
Yes.
hard to write it because it brought me back to that moment, but I thought it was important to do so.
Yeah. I would think it's almost like a catharsis, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, definitely a catharsis.
Yeah. Because the way you started your story, it really kind of brings the reader in,
Yeah,
and I'm sure there are a lot of women out there who can relate to that part. When you're struggling with when you're a new mother, there are a lot of challenges to that. When you're balancing that and work,
yeah.
it is very difficult, and you've captured all the emotions, all the pain of it so well.
Thank you. I also wanted to take the shame away from it, right? I think a lot of us experience sometimes a level of shame that prevents us from just describing the experience for what it is. So my hope was to just tell it like it is and just let it land.
Yeah, and like you've said in your story, when you've mentioned that a lot of people were asking you things like, how come you're choosing to continue your career, etc., and the way you dealt with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard choice, right? But we have to choose, and I think the intentionality around it is probably for me the most important skill,
Yeah,
I guess, that I learned out of it is being thoughtful about the choices that we make.
sure. To you and to all those who are struggling with the same issues.
That's kind. Thank you.
um, One word to describe yourself, Karina.
Oh, it's always hard. I would say thoughtfulness. I think I've always trusted myself because I know I can be thoughtful about the decisions that I take. And I think it also comes through in the work that I do with my clients. Is we don't, there's no time to waste. We need to be very purposeful about the things that we do. So I would say thoughtfulness.
Nice. Okay. So, what would you say is your superpower? Would it be thoughtfulness or something else?
It could be the thoughtfulness. I think one thing also comes to my mind, which is creating structure out of chaos. So I
That's
tend
that's interesting.
Yeah, well, I think it works in two ways. On one
Yeah.
hand, I know I get easily overwhelmed. So I've learned different ways to reduce the feeling of overwhelm as a working parent to, yeah, create structure and create routines and patterns that work. But also at work, I know that I'm good at, collecting kind of concepts and ideas and putting them together in a way that makes sense to people in a simple way. So I think there's a personal benefit and a professional benefit to it as
That's
well.
great. Nice. Very nicely put.
Thank you.
Applause to
Ah.
you for that.
I like that. Thank you. I love
The
those. Those are really good.
Thank you. So, as you know, the theme of our book is unstoppable. Uh, what makes you, as our storyteller and as an individual, unstoppable?
Hmm. I think, and I imagine my fellow storytellers in the book experience something the same, that, we're at the point where we are on a journey. I think many of us have goals we want to achieve in our lives, and yeah, we have aspirations we want to reach. And so I think having that clarity of, what our purpose is and what we're here to do creates that feeling of being unstoppable, right? Then we channel our energy and focus our
Right.
energy on those. And I think the stories in the book are just the beginning or the middle of a story, right? There are more stories to tell after this. I'm also curious to see where we all end up in a year or so from now.
Sure. Maybe we should have a sequel to this.
Maybe.
Yeah. In fact, I would think what makes you unstoppable, this is just my reading, is the fact that you're very open to reinventing yourself.
Thank
You
you.
know, and you had the courage to to see your decision right through.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of fearlessness to do that.
Thank you. I appreciate
To park corporate career and to say that you're going to be doing things on your own and also managing the new, having a little baby, managing your little one. It's
yeah.
not easy, but you've done it remarkably well, and you
Thank
and you're also contributing to Thrive On.
Yeah. but but I think
I'm
that's,
sorry.
to your point about your question about being unstoppable. I think it starts to feel easier and it starts to make more sense when they fit with each other because it matches the values. I think if we're busy doing many different things that don't connect with our values, then it feels hard. And
Right.
so for me, the amount of the variety of the work I do doesn't feel difficult because they make sense to my value system, and I think that's something I've also had to learn to figure out over time.
Great. um, what do you think? So are you a regular reader? Do you read a lot of books?
I wish I had more time. That's the thing. So I
Don't
do
we
tend to
all?
listen
Don't
to
we all? Yeah.
I do tend to listen to more podcasts. I love listening to people having in-depth conversations, and so my interest has shifted a little bit more to listening to podcasts and interviews. And I do wish I have a little bit more time to read a book.
Great. Maybe you can start with our book.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
So, in your opinion, Karina, what does Thrive stand for?
I always equate the word thrive or the organization thrive with community. I always think of the people in thrive with mentoring as my allies, my advocates, my support network. And I think it's a place where everybody feels like they can belong and they feel they're included. I think it's just such an amazing group of women to be a part of.
Yeah, it's a sisterhood.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so, if you were to mentor your younger self, what would your message be?
I think I would advise my younger self to really ask the question as to what's driving some of the beliefs I held about work and career and success. Because I think if I reflected on those beliefs earlier, without regretting anything, I may have made different choices, or I would have understood that life is not just about work. Like there are many components to our lives that deserve attention. And I, probably would have started that process much earlier.
Right. That surely deserves a sound round of applause. That there's more to life than work.
Yeah.
To all
But,
those who are listening, there's more to life than work, for sure. And the best part of being a mentee,
oh my gosh. I Two, I think one is just getting to learn from my mentor friend. I think that relationship is so special. And also interacting with my fellow mentees. I think just knowing you're not alone in your struggles and you have others who are, going through their own challenges, but then you get support from each other too. I think that's such a powerful experience.
great. I think you share a wonderful connect with Fran,
Yeah.
so much so that she won the Mentor of the Year award.
Yes.
That's
I'm so
great.
proud of her. I had to do that for her, and I'm glad that she
That's
got the
great.
recognition.
That puts you as as her mentee in a very special place.
Oh, thank you. She's
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a gift, definitely.
great. I think that kind of wraps up our conversation, Karina. Would you like to say anything else from your side to our viewers about mentoring, or the benefits of mentoring?
Well, first, I want to thank you and the team behind this because I know there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes. And so I just wanted to extend my appreciation for the work and the support from you and the team.
Most
It's
welcome.
like I said, it's been a joy watching all the other interviews. And I just encourage our viewers to get in touch with Thrive with Mentoring and support the book. There's a good lesson to be learned for everyone, I think.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was great to have this little conversation with you. And I'm sure there are going to be many more as we go along.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. For all those who are watching, we are going to be having a crowdfunding campaign for the book. Please participate. Please share the links with your friends, family, well wishers, and so that we are able to print and publish this book, and all of you can get to read these wonderful stories by people like Karina. And if you book your the book, right, if you order your pre-order your book now, you can get it delivered to you when the awards are going on. That would be a grand way to receive it, I can assure you. And if you buy the tickets at full price for the Thrive Awards, you can get 2 copies of the book complimentary. So please share that with your within your network, Karina, and
Definitely,
let's help to market that book.
I will.
Yeah. So that's it from us. I hope you all enjoyed this.